Hey everybody, I'm Nick in the States, and this is...
Tim.
And I just botched the intro, but we're going to keep it anyway because we love you, and you should see what we're really like. Today, we're once again on Guitar Madness, March 2016.
I did just as well at botching the intro.
So
I didn't know we were filming, actually.
Yeah, that's the key thing. That's why you have the magic captured there, because there was no pressure, on Tim at least. So today we're doing March Guitar Madness. 8 guitars in, 1 will stay, 7 will go. It's a whole series. We're in round 1 where there's 4 videos for this. Check out the other ones. This one we have 2 guitars that you've seen if you've watched the channel probably before. First one is a blue AL-2000. You've seen it with and without a Bigsby, I believe.
Can I interject with a quick question? What would you do if the one that stays is one that you aren't particularly want to keep?
So I bought all of them originally. It's a good question, right? I like all of them.
Yeah.
I could probably own 1,000 guitars, and I still would like all of them.
Yeah.
So I had to just prepare my soul to that any and all of these 8 can go.
Yeah.
And then I have a few dark horse favorites that I hope stay. And just to recap, it's not which guitars are better. It's not which guitars are prettier. It's not which guitars are more expensive. It's which guitars somehow match a combination of those things that makes them able to be sold off in this run. And this is probably one of the interesting comparisons between the two, because you have a very low cost, sub $200 Les Paul copy, or you have a real Gibson Les Paul. So do you sell off the sub $200 one, or do you get $1,400 or $1,500 and sell off the real deal, because cash in the bank gets you other stuff? So that is the challenge. This Agile AL-2000 made in Korea. This is 2000 and I think this is a 2013 Les Paul Traditional Pro 2 in Inverness green, which is a hella cool color. And Trad Pro 2 has both coil taps and a built-in boost. So in the little panel in the back, there's actually a 9-volt battery that you can swap in and swap out, which powers that boost, very similar to how a Clapton Strat has a boost. Locking Grovers on it, bound fretboard, all kinds of awesomeness. And that thing is ballsy as shit.
Ballsy as shit.
I will tell you in the room.
That was the middle position. I almost thought it was a neck pickup.
Yeah. In the room, fat bottom girls, they make the rock and roll go round. It's a huge,
yeah,
huge...
that had some depth.
Oh, you're still boosted, that's why.
Oh yeah, there you go. There's another list of the amenities on this guitar.
It's got a boost. This is actually cool.
Coil
Instead
tapping.
of push-pull, it's push-push. So you push on them to pop them out, you push on them to go back in.
Actually, let me show that up here. It's actually quite cool. You don't have to sit there and pull on the thing. You just give it a quick push.
I have an Epiphone Les Paul Custom that we'll do a video on soon. That the pull, you can actually pull the thing right out, which is not always cool. So that's nice that it's push-push. And as you can see, it's a pretty guitar. Zebra humbuckers. Some people have begged me to put chrome covers on it because it would look upmarket. Some have been accepting of it. The Trad Pro 2, which interesting, it's a gloss top of the guitar and gloss headstock, but the back is sort of a satiny finish to it, just slightly different. Not the back of the neck is gloss, but the rest of the guitar is kind of, it's just a slightly different satin finish. Not super cheap satin like Gibson can do from time to time, but still a noticeably different sheen to it.
Doesn't capture as much light, but I don't know. I don't have a real problem with it.
No, it's just one of those things that if you didn't know when you bought it, it could trip off some OCDs. I know my Uncle Jeff, who's got 70-something Gibsons at this point, grabbed me and said, "Oh, that's awesome, that's awesome." What the bleep did they do with the finish on the back? So like some people, it's not horrible, but if you're expecting a gloss nitro everywhere, it's still nitro, it's just a slightly satin one on the back. But great guitar. I have 2 Les Paul Traditionals, a Traditional Plus, which is a gloss top you've seen in some of the videos, and this bad boy. So if I've got to thin the herd, 1 Les Paul can go, because another Les Paul is going to be coming in at some point this year, and that's going to be a 3-pickup Black Beauty Les Paul custom. So we can have one go if this one gets chosen.
Bound neck too. Did you mention that?
Yep, bound neck. I think this is still a rosewood fretboard. Sure looks like it. And just cool. It's a Gibson Les Paul. It's not a Les Paul style, but a real deal thing. And right now the purists are going a blue Les Paul and a green Les Paul. You guys are freaking crazy, but it's fun. And they're happy. That's it.
It's on my guitar. That's very butter. Very, very real deal pickups in this baby.
What you tap them to?
Okay, this will be the bridge tapped. I'm one of those weirdos that I like Les Pauls clean. No one thinks of them for clean.
Oh, they're beauteous.
But
though.
I just feel like a lot of people get a Les Paul because they want to like distort the hell out of it, which you really have to appreciate them clean. They're beautiful.
Yeah. They're awesome.
That's with the now this would be your neck pickup split. A real notable difference.
What I like too is if you have them, tap them both and put it in the middle.
Both. Yeah, let's see that.
So I love that position. Double tapped on a Les Paul in the middle for like roots Americana rhythms, like anything that's got like a bop to it in a store, in an entire store about a man. Like it's a whole like that kind of. Saw Les Paul's not what you thought you'd see today, but the truth is like it's a fun, good, usable tone. I will say this: so people, especially on my channel, a lot of people buy less expensive guitars, and they're always working on why is a Gibson so expensive? They're overpriced pieces of crap. Blah, 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 blah. You can get a Harley Benton that plays 90% there for 1/10 the price.
I think,
but this guitar gives you both coil taps, plus a built-in boost, plus all that, plus the Les Paul Mojo and the name on the headstock. Like, that's a nice value relatively to a $1,500 guitar used.
For me, saying it's a piece of crap is more, I think, resentment of, like, they're not pieces of crap. They're just, what's the markup on these things? I mean, it can't be costing them that much to make it.
Someone's making money, I imagine.
Yeah. I just think if they got a little more reasonable, more people would own them, and less people would hate on their price.
It's true, and I think they've tried to bring the market down. They keep trying, right? So that's great, I guess. And there's always Epiphones, which does make a quite nice product. So there's
I feel like a lot of the corners they cut to are like, come on, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
Martin does the same thing, where they're like, this is a working man's axe, and it's like $850. It's like,
you got nicer job than I do with it. You working man axe. Yeah, I know.
Or if it was, why not give me the really nice one for $850?
Yeah,
I'd be all over it. That's something I would take the time to save up for.
Right.
But $2,000 just seems a bit unattainable for folks like myself.
It's a lot of dough. So, but now stepping down to the one that is attainable. This is the previous AL-2000s. I don't think are being made anymore. I think they replaced it with the AL-1500 and the 1900. Agile is the one of the store brands for Rondo music. If you aren't aware of them, they're an internet darling because they're all Agiles are made in Korea and they're good quality. And like this guy, like. Nice sounding pickups in it. What's that you hear there? What? You're saying it sounds funky? Yes! These pickups are actually in there out of phase because I think the guy. They have that like funky kind of people gonna be having sex for money on camera feel to them. And the guy before me I think might have liked that. You can just switch the pickup leads in where they're soldered to. To put it back, I've never gotten there because I have a bunch of guitars and it's kind of one that has the funk.
You definitely get access to the upper frets here with this cutaway.
Yep, no, it's nice. It's a comfortable. It's a comfortable.
The blue burst is certainly nice.
Good luck.
I like the cream too. I think it goes better than. With that blue than black.
A lot of people put black on it, or they put zebra pickups, but I think this is just crazy enough to work without being too over the top and forcing it down your throat. For me, I love blue guitars. Psyched about this one. Negatives for this guy are just that the book matching on the top, it just kind of fades off on this side. There's not as much flame here as here, which is why I had put a Bigsby on it. But now, in preparation for its potential departure, I pulled the Bigsby off because the Bigsby cost more than the guitar. It's the truth. With a Vibramate, it did. There's one little tiny dimple. I don't know if you can see it there. When it does sell, I'll show it there. It's the size of like a marker tip for issues with it. But all in all, it's a very clean, great playing guitar. They usually go for $150, $175, $200, depending on condition where you see them. These guys go between $1,400, $1,600.
Used?
Used.
Yikes.
New they were $19.99 to $22.99, $21.99 US. It's a lot of dough. But which one goes?
It does have everything on it that you could ever want.
You could gig with that and you have a lot of options.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna go out and play. It's a good workman's Les Paul and it's a nice knotted. It's a different color. It's a nice.
The color for me, I just think some dude out in California who's into the Beach Boys or something.
Oh yeah, you got that.
I don't know why. It screams 50s to me.
Yep.
Just
and
this
it
color.
is. It's a 50s and 60s. It's a 60s Gibson color.
Looks like a convertible top down.
I believe it was originally the color of a Pontiac.
Heading to the beach.
Yep.
Should we try this thing a little bit? Everyone's dying to know. Let's hear it screaming.
Try it out.
Yeah.
She's evil. So, we'll set our weapons back to stun.
Damn.
So the decision is, which one do you sell? For me, if I had to choose between these two and which one I would keep, because of the money aspect, and if you're trying to get to $3,000, $1,400 is a good method there.
I have to remember to put myself in your head and not my own, because it's a totally different set of circumstances.
In some ways, right? Like, for me, I'm trying to get somewhere with it. So, like, that's going to get me farther than this one. And this one...
But if this was your only one, that would be different.
Right.
But
if I were to come to you tomorrow, money, not an object, right? Sort of. It's not costing you anything, but the guitar is still worth what it's worth. And I say, choose between these two, and I come back to you, when we both have kids that are small, in 6 months and say, which one did you play more?
Well, the kids are going to grow up, and they're not going to trap.
Right, but like for me right now, I will play this more because I can have it more accessible. There is a small dimple indentation on that, and it's once again the size of it, somewhere up in this range. Oh, no, it's right there. There it is. It's the size of like a marker tip, and it's just something...
I can barely see it.
Something impacted it, but it was on the wall, and it didn't have it, and then a week or two later, I noticed that it did. And those are the kind of reasons why, like, it's just, it's tough having great gear around kids if you're not anally putting it back in its case and hiding it under the bed again afterwards. And for me, that just means it so it doesn't get played. And that's me.
Yeah.
Whatever, that's my kind of world that I'm living in.
But when you consider the kids will grow up and it's such a quality piece of gear, it gets you, if you can not be overly lazy, pulling that case out and opening it is almost like, like you're opening the Ark of the Covenant or something, you know, and the light shines out. And it's like, but my Les Paul.
Here's where I'm the traditionalist, though. My other one's a flame top Les Paul. And I bought that because I loved it and it was different. But if I only have to have one, I kind of want a flame top.
This is like a collector's piece, I think.
It's pretty.
For the guy who's like crazy about his Les Pauls, but just wants something a little left of center, you know?
Yep.
And again, it just says 50s.
It's got a certain mojo to
me.
it. And if you're in a band that plays nothing but 50s cover, like 50s and early 60s cover tunes, like that fun kind of shit that you'd wear a leather jacket and show up in your 32 Ford and play out in, it's fun because you bust that out and there's Crazy Jimmy with his wireless ball.
Yeah,
you know,
or maybe fun. If you were like playing something like at a tiki bar, with a little reggae flair to it. This thing
Vegas Casino Lounge action. That's probably not what they were going for. It looks like something you play in a Vegas Casino Lounge.
No, not Vegas Casino, but just more like a...
Something where the
now
mood
we're
is
arguing
happy.
about...
No, we're going to imagine to play it.
You could play it anywhere. You could play it on the surface of the moon and it would still sound great. It's just got a certain vibe and a look to it, you know, that's different than others. So if you're into that, this is up your alley.
There you go. But let us know what you think. Vote. Use that Facebook. I say Facebook every time. Use that YouTube fun little feature where you can vote in the video. And let's see what you think.
Comment. What do you? So sounds like you're leaning towards that.
I know I would play this more often than that. That is a hella cool thing. But getting the money back in the bank account to do some fun things with it is a motivating factor with that guy. So that's.
I say this can just do so much more than that.
Oh, and here's my last thing.
It's got the locking.
If I had to own 2 guitars for the rest of my life, and I had visions of playing in a band, I would own this and a Clapton Strat and call it a day. Because between the two of them, I could play anything on this planet. Now, I couldn't play it. The guitar could give me the tones of everything on the planet. You know, it's just fun.
For me, if this had chrome covers and a different color, I'd be all over it.
Yep.
All over it.
Kick ass. I'm also helping out. I bought a Pelham Blue Les Paul custom from Epiphone. So that has my funky color Les Paul accurate shape itch scratched at the moment. So, anywho, I've been Nick in the States.
And I am Tim.
And thanks for stopping by. Vote, comment, like.
Vote early and often.
After this round, Liam and I are going to do the second round. So these 4 videos. There'll be 2 videos in the second round. And we're going to do a live-ass show for the final video. So that should be a hell of a lot of fun.
Interesting to say the least.
So, cool. All right. Take care.
See ya.